Imagine if you could somehow go to the future, right? Let's say 10 years from now, 10 years from the day you're watching this video, right? And while you're in the future, you come to know that you don't make it. You come to know that unfortunately, those were the last 10 years of your life, right? And when you return to the present moment, there is absolutely nothing that you can do to change the future. Doesn't matter what you try, doesn't matter what action you take, there is nothing you can do to change a series of events that lead up to the last 10 years of your life, right? And with that knowledge, with that knowing, how would you live the rest of your life? What would the last 10 years of your life be like, right? Would you show up every day? Would you hold on to the same regrets? Would you hold on to the same anger? Would you continue to blame yourself for situations and circumstances that happened to you? Would you continue to blame yourself for certain things that you did in your past? Would you continue to resent the people who hurt you? Would you continue to play as a victim? How would you show up every single day of the last 10 years that you have left on this earth? What version of you would live those last 10 years? I was reading this book the other day, right? And it's called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. A very, very good book. Um, I really ended up liking that book. And this lady was able to go to the future, right? And she went to the future and she came to find out that she wouldn't make it that far, right? And she would end up giving birth to a child. Um, the child would basically be her legacy that she left behind in the world. And there was this brilliant quote that really stuck with me. And I had to pause and really ask myself the same question that she ended up asking herself, right? And she said, I was so caught up, I was so stuck on changing the things that were unchangeable, on changing the things that I couldn't change, so much so that I forgot the one thing that I could change. And that one thing was myself. If you're watching this, you have absolutely no control over the things that have happened in the past. You have no control over the mistakes you made. You have no control over the people that hurt you. You have no control over the unfortunate circumstances and events that took place in your life. You have absolutely no control over them. You can't change them. And if you're watching this and the situation and circumstance that you currently find yourself in or your life in, then to some degree, you can't really change it instantaneously, right? You can't, you know. But the one thing that you can change is how you show up for yourself every single day. The one thing that you can change is the version of yourself that shows up every single day. Do you want to show up to life for the last years of your life with anger, resentment, regret, self judgment, self loathing, playing as a victim? Or do you want to show up for the last 10 years of your life with positivity, with optimism, with happiness, with peace, with joy? What version of you do you want to show up every single day as? Because to a large extent, how we choose to show up, the version of us that chooses to show up, is a choice, is a choice that we get to make. You can't control the things that have happened to you. You can't control the situations and circumstances that took place in your life. And to a large extent, you can't immediately change the circumstance that you find yourself in to some degree. But you can always change how you show up. You can always choose your perspective, your perception. You can always choose to be in the present moment as much as possible, right? I really believe that every single day we wake up, we have the opportunity to turn over a new leaf. We have the opportunity for a clean slate, right? And in order for us to do that, we have to recognize that yesterday's version of you doesn't have to be today's version of you. Yesterday's you doesn't have to be the you of today. You can choose a different you. You can choose to show up differently today, right? I think sometimes we believe that we're so tied to the things that have happened to us and the things that have took place in our past, right? We look at the situations and circumstances, the people that did us wrong, the mistakes that we made, so on and so forth. And to a large extent, we believe that we're sort of tied to them, right? We carry this psychological version of ourselves, the psychological perception of ourselves, and we believe that we're constantly defined by our past and by the things that have happened to us, right? Without recognizing that we get the opportunity to turn over a new leaf every single day or every single moment. And it's about recognizing that you can leave yourself behind, right? Forgive me if I'm sweating, it's hot and I can't turn on the AC because it's probably gonna mess up the audio. But it's about recognizing that you can leave yourself behind. You are not tied to the circumstances that you're in. You're not tied to the things of your past, right? You are always a different you in each moment if you choose to be a different you. And oftentimes, change is very difficult for us because we keep choosing the same versions of ourselves that keep us trapped, keep us unhappy, keep us miserable, right? We keep choosing those same versions of ourselves. But you always have a choice. You absolutely always have a choice, right? We all have a choice. But this thing that we call life is very difficult, all right? I'm not going to come on this video and act like it's really easy. Being in this world is very difficult. It really is. You have no control over most of the things that take place in your life. You don't get to choose the family that you are born in, right? There are so many things in this world that are outside of our control. But the one thing that we do get to choose is how we show up, is how we choose to see things. That's the one thing that we get to choose. And even in moments when things don't necessarily look the best, right? Even in moments when things don't look optimistic, how we choose to show up to those circumstances is still a choice, right? Because if you show up to the the negative things in your life and the things that are not so fortunate with pessimism and and regret and all those things, that is all you're going to continue to experience, and you're going to continuously keep yourself trapped in that cycle and keep yourself in survival, and you're going to keep reliving the same moment and the same life every single day. But even when you're in circumstances which are unfortunate, if you choose a different version of yourself, a version of yourself that is optimistic, a version of yourself that is peaceful, a version of yourself that you know is is happy, so on and so forth, then your experience of that event is going to be different. Not necessarily because the event is going to change immediately, right? Which, you know, we all know that the external always reflects internally. But more so, even if the event doesn't change externally, your experience of it is going to be different. And I don't think we recognize just how much power we truly have. Oftentimes, we give our experiences so much power over us. We think that where we are is always where we were going to be. And we don't allow ourselves to be optimistic that whatever we're going through, whatever circumstance that we find ourselves in, is going to change because everything always changes. And funny enough, when we hold on to the idea that life is always going to be like this, then that's all we're continuously creating, right? That's all we're continuously creating. But you have one opportunity at life, right? One opportunity. And as a matter of fact, let me take that back. You have infinite opportunities at life. But to start a new life, you need to step into a new you. To start a new life, you have to recognize that you're not tied to the old you. You're not tied to the events and circumstances that took place in your life. You're not tied to any of that. And you get a second chance at life. The moment you recognize that you might not be able to control the events and circumstances that take place or have taken place in your life, but the one thing that you can control is how you show up to them, the perspective that you choose, how you choose to perceive them. That's the one thing you're in control of. And if you can as much as possible show up every moment of your life with optimism, with joy, with happiness, so on and so forth, then your life has no choice but to change. But because you keep showing up as the same you, right? You keep showing up as the same version of yourself, all you're doing is creating a new life. That's all you're doing. It is impossible for you to be one way and for your life to be a different way. Your life is always a reflection of whatever internal state that you're in, whatever state of being that you're in. Your life is always a reflection of that. But choosing a new life begins with choosing a new you. Stepping into a new life begins with stepping into a new you. And you have the chance or the opportunity to begin a new life. You always do. So if you've made it this far, this is your opportunity at a second life. The life that you've been living doesn't have to be your only one. The moment you acknowledge that the things that have happened and you can't change them, but you can change how you show up in every moment. Once you truly recognize that, that is when your second life begins. That is when your second life begins. And it's difficult, extremely difficult. You know, a lot of us are stuck in this victim mentality, and mm, obviously, there are a lot of unfortunate events that took place in our lives, right? There truly are. But victim mentality isn't empowering. And none of us truly know when our time will come to leave this earth. Could be tomorrow, could be today, could be 5 years from now, it could be 10 years from now. No, none of us truly know. But at some point, all of us have to go. And you get to choose the version of yourself that experiences the rest of your life. You get to choose. You have that power. You don't have power over the past. You don't have power over certain circumstances that take place. But you always have power over the version of you that shows up every single day. Don't forget that, right? Remember that. You have power over the version of you that shows up every single day. So thank you guys for watching. I wanted to film inside the car because outside is burning up and it's summer, so there's like a bunch of love bugs and they're kind of annoying. But I still wanted to film my outdoor videos just the same. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here with me. I sincerely love y'all and appreciate y'all. Be safe, take care of yourself, give yourself a bit of love every day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace and blessings.